Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry to bother you in such a late hour. Приветствую, ladies and gents, и данный стрим, он потом, возможно, будет видео на русском. Так что, если вы не говорите по-английски, то вполне возможно, что вы сможете это услышать потом по-русски. So, now I'm switching back to English. The question that I want to pose to all my viewers is 10 million refugees from Ukraine. Does this mean the end of EU? I think it's an extremely important question because EU has taken the decision to allow refugees from Ukraine to enter freely. And let me put it this way. We have had the best possible decisions, the ones that we made with all our heart, that sometimes had led us to horrible consequences. For example, let's imagine that there is a lady and she gets a cat after cat after cat. Perhaps those are even strayed cats, and she takes them in to her own house just to rescue them. But at the end, you have 17 cats, which are all over her flat, which are breeding like crazy, which are pooping everywhere. She doesn't have a food and no possibility to take care of them. Would you think that this situation is healthy? I don't think so. Well, perhaps in this particular moment, our part of the world, EU, Europe, has turned a little bit into this crazy lady. I really don't know what are our officials thinking. So, EU, according to United Nations, is to expect 10 million refugees from Ukraine, and the restrictions are lifted. So, Ukrainians can come from all kinds of backgrounds and be accepted in this situation that is currently ongoing. They can stay in EU for a year as it is now, and there will be no requests for any kind of documents. But then, on the other hand, there is also a possibility of this legal state to be extended to three years. So, um, Ukraine is a very, very poor country to begin with, and there is a huge push effect away from Ukraine. Okay, it's a poor country. There are a lot of people living it as it is. They're going out of Ukraine because it's a poor, corrupt country with a lot of problems. Now there is war, so there's a lot harder push effect. It's almost violent. It's pushing people away by the millions. And now, let's think of what is drawing the people. Well, the thing that is drawing the people is possibility of perhaps free education, free healthcare, benefits, and things like that. Well, I think it is quite possible that for many it will turn the equation. If you think of equation staying in Ukraine versus living, if it was just the war, perhaps there will be some people who would be staying. As it is now, there's practically no reason to stay in place, to stay put. And me, as well as a lot of organizations, are expecting to be Ukrainians living. So we have a huge effect of pushing the people. The situation is pushing millions of Ukrainians out of EU, and then the EU is offering huge amounts of money, huge amount of resources to take them in. So, how will this situation progress? I think we should see at what happened in 2015. We had 2 millions, just 2 millions. And it ended up pretty much in disaster because there was a lot of places which received refugees, and it was a very, very, very harsh situation for many municipalities, for many small villages and similar places. So let's presume now that what is happening is 5 times more. There was 2 million people back in 2015, and now it's expected that it will be 10 million refugees, 5 times more. How on earth is it possible? Has anybody given it any kind of thought? Is there some thinking involved in this process? I very much doubt it. I see that there is a lot of emotion, but there is very little financing, there is very little structure, there is very little preparedness and awareness for this situation. So I think that the risks are huge, that this will spiral out of control, and we will end up with a rising far right, with the rise of the extreme nationalism, and I will be very glad if we do not get rise of Nazis from this situation. But unfortunately, the risk is pretty high considering how uncontrolled is this situation. So, also, let's present to ourselves such situation that millions upon millions of Ukrainians are start to arrive in Poland. I think there's perhaps a week, maybe 2 weeks more, that Poland can cope with this situation. The other nations so far are not taking away the redistribution of these people is not happening. Like there is no, let's say, Great Britain that is taking away people from Poland, the Ukrainians. There is no France. There are no other countries that are coming in and actively picking up people. So it's maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and Poland will say, "Stop, we can't take any more. The border is closed." So there will be millions of people who have went through a very, very dangerous journey, and they will end up at the border with their children, starving, crying, freezing, waiting for EU to take them in, and will just say, "Oops, sorry, no more place, we're sorry." And also the same type of situation will play out on the other side of the border, because just like in 2015, we will be having a situation where at first people are, "Oh, we will open our hearts, we will open our arms, we will donate money, we will bring clothes, we'll bring food." I have seen it with my own eyes how it was in 2015. And then it took just a few months, and the situation shifted entirely because people started to realize that it is uncontrolled situation, that there is no preparedness for it, and it led in its turn to very sharp rise to alternatives that are far right. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want that. I want things to stay as they are. I think and I hope that we can agree on that having the normal political situation is something that we want. That we don't want a very, very sharp tilt to the right wing. So, if that is what you want, then we should speak up now and tell how afraid we are, because this is clearly dangerous, uncontrolled situation. And if we want to keep a liberal, democratic, free Europe, then we should do something about it, because in the name of the best decisions, in the name of the humanitarianism, we can be coming to a situation where we'll destroy the EU and perhaps destroy large part of the continent with it. I hope you have time to let it sink in and think about it a little bit longer. Have a wonderful night.